And every 6 months, I would go back to the doctor for a checkup, and he'd say, "You're doing great. Keep taking the medicine. You're doing great. Keep taking the medicine." And I said, "Well, I don't want to take the medicine. That's the whole point." And he said, "Oh, you're always going to be diabetic. You'll always be on the medicine."
Your focus wasn't on the weight at this point. So when you stumbled upon the work of Dr. Neil Bernard, then what did you take any kind of action based on what you had learned?
Well, his was the first book that I found, and then I found Dr. Furman, and then I found Dr. McDougall, and I just kept studying, and I was reading scientific studies and medical studies and watching documentaries, and I just kept reading books. And finally, I just got to the point, it had been about 6 months, and I got to the point where I watched Forks Over Knives. And that was the Sunday before Christmas of 2012. And the next day I got rid of all the food in my house, and I went out and bought all new food. And that was my Christmas present to myself in 2012.
So what was it about Forks Over Knives that resonated so strongly? Because you had tried a lot of diets and you had tried a lot of things, but you watch a documentary and you immediately cleaned out your cupboards, right? So what
Yes.
was it that you saw in that film that made you say, I have to do this and I have to do it now?
Well, Alzheimer's has been the driving force since I started researching the plant-based. But Forks Over Knives just talked about overall health and all the other health conditions. And I thought, well, maybe this is my answer on the diabetes, and maybe this is the answer on the high cholesterol, and even the sleep apnea. I mean, I had all that stuff. I had been put on medicine for anxiety at this point in time as well. So I had all those health conditions. I had a lot of weight I still wanted to lose, but my primary driving force every single day is still the Alzheimer's, because my mom passed away with it. And it's a heartbreaking disease.
Yes, it is. And do you feel like you're in a better position now than you've ever been?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like I'm in a better position now for any health condition whatsoever.
What's frustrating is what you were talking about, whether your doctor, you go see him after so many months and they say,
Yeah.
you know what, you're doing fine. I hear this a lot with a lot of different people. And I went to the doctor says I'm doing good. Well, what does that mean? It basically means you're taking your pill like a good little worker bee. You're staying within a range that we have deemed to be normal and acceptable, but you still have your disease and whatever that's doing. You're
Yeah.
taking something that's toxic that your liver has got to deal with. I mean, really, what's so fine about that? But yet that's the acceptable point that people have reached with their own doctor. Doctor doesn't really take a look at the holistic, right? The entire body. And that's what you learned when you watched Forks Over Knives, is that there's a whole body thing going on here.
Absolutely. It all interconnects. Exactly. And I think another thing that you are also aware of is that the medical schools do focus on medicine and treating the symptoms more. And I think that people have gotten used to that. I mean, people think most of the time, anybody I talk to, oh, that's too hard, I could never do that, I'll just take a pill. But they have been programmed to think taking the pill is actually not, they don't have high blood pressure anymore because they take a pill.
Right.
Or they don't have, and that is so wrong. And it just worries me so much that people are, I mean, there's just so much miscommunication and so much bad information.
Yeah, definitely. And when you find this way of eating and taking care of yourself, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I kind of feel like I'm glad that I understand this and I figured it out and I can help myself. And I'm sure that you feel the same way, but yet you take a look around you now and now you see things more for how they really are. And it can break your heart watching people just treading water like they're on a hamster wheel with their meds, not getting any better. It's a frustrating thing,
Absolutely.